How's it going, everyone? Welcome, and thank you for choosing us as your stream of choice. We're going to be giving you guys a little bit of the aerial of what's going on at the rally. This is live footage. I'm about to put it back if we still have feed of the convention center where the rally is taking place today in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. So we're going to go back a little bit, see if how much more footage we have of the live aerial of the rally. And we'll go back to the rally once it starts. But in between, we're going to be watching a little rerun of the last rally that happened just a few days ago, last week. And until we get the new footage of the new rally. So stay tuned.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. So, we're just going to let the other folks come in, fill it up. This is some crowd. You have to see what's outside. You wouldn't even believe it. Unbelievable. So I'm thrilled to be here in Nashville, Tennessee, the home of country music, Southern hospitality, and the great President Andrew Jackson. I just came from a tour of Andrew Jackson's home to mark the 250th anniversary of his birth. Jackson's life was devoted to one very crucial principle. He understood that real leadership means putting America first. Before becoming president, Andrew Jackson served your state in the House of Representatives and in the United States Senate, and he also served as commander of the Tennessee militia. Tough cookies, tough cookies. So let's begin tonight by thanking all of the incredible men and women of the United States military and all of our wonderful veterans, the veterans. Amazing. There's no place I'd rather be than with all of you here tonight, with the wonderful, hardworking citizens of our country. I would much rather spend time with you than any of the pundits, consultants, or special interests, certainly, or reporters from Washington, D.C. It's patriotic Americans like you who make this country run and run well. You pay your taxes, follow our laws, support your communities, raise your children, love your country, and send your bravest to fight in our wars. All you want is a government that shows you the same loyalty in return. It's time that Washington heard your voice, and believe me, on November 8th, they heard your voice. The forgotten men and women of our country will never be forgotten again, believe me. I want to thank so many of your state leaders. State Party Chairman Scott Golden, Congressman Scott DeJoy, Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, Congresswoman Diane Black, Congressman Jimmy Duncan, right from the beginning, Governor Bill Haslam, a great friend of mine, Senator Bob Corker, an incredible guy, respected by all, Senator Lamar Alexander, and so many more. Thank you all for being here. We're going to be working closely together, thank you, to deliver for you, the citizens of Tennessee, like you've never been delivered for before. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are going to reduce your taxes. Big league, big. And I want to start that process so quickly. Got to get the health care done. We got to start the tax reductions. We are going to enforce our trade rules and bring back our jobs, which are scattered all over the world. They're coming back to our country. We're going to support the amazing, absolutely amazing men and women of law enforcement. Protect your freedoms and defend the Second Amendment. And we are going to restore respect for our country and for its great and very beautiful flag. It's been a little over 50 days since my inauguration, and we've been putting our America First agenda very much into action. You see what's happening. We're keeping our promises. In fact, they have signs. He's kept his promise. They're all over the place. I have. We have done far more, I think maybe more than anybody's done in this office in 50 days. That I can tell you. And we have just gotten started. Wait till you see what's coming, folks. We've appointed a Supreme Court justice to replace the late, great Antonin Scalia. His name is Judge Neil Gorsuch. He will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. We are proposing a budget that will shrink the bloated federal bureaucracy, and I mean bloated, while protecting our national security. You see what we're doing with our military. Bigger, better, stronger than ever before. You see what's happening? And you're already seeing the results. Our budget calls for one of the single largest increases in defense spending history in this country. We believe, especially the people in Tennessee, I know you people so well, in peace through strength. That's what we're going to have. And we are taking steps to make sure that our allies pay their fair share. They have to pay. We've begun a dramatic effort to eliminate job-killing federal regulations like nobody has ever seen before. Slash. We're going to protect the environment. We're going to protect people's safeties. But let me tell you, the regulation business has become a terrible business, and we're going to bring it down to where it should be. Okay, let's go. One person, and there'll be the story tomorrow. Did you hear there was a protest? We're going to put our miners back to work. We're going to put our auto industry back to work. Already, because of this new business climate, we are creating jobs that are starting to pour back into our country like we haven't seen in many, many decades. In the first two job reports since I took the oath of office, we've already added nearly 500,000 new jobs. And believe me, it's just beginning. I've already authorized the construction of the long-stalled and delayed Keystone and Dakota Access pipelines. A lot of jobs. I've also directed that new pipelines must be constructed with American steel. They want to build them here, they use our steel. We believe in two simple rules: buy American and hire American. On trade, I've kept my promise to the American people and withdrawn from the Trans-Pacific Partnership disaster. Tennessee has lost 1/3 of its manufacturing jobs since the institution of NAFTA, one of the worst trade deals ever in history. Our nation has lost over 60,000 factories since China joined the World Trade Organization. 60,000, think of that. More than that. We're not going to let it happen anymore. From now on, we are going to defend the American worker and our great American companies. And if America does what it says, and if your president does what I've been telling you, there is nobody anywhere in the world that can even come close to us, folks. Not even close. If a company wants to leave America, fire their workers, and then ship their new products back into our country, there will be consequences. That's what we have borders for. And by the way, aren't our borders getting extremely strong? Very strong. Don't even think about it. We will build the wall. Don't even think about it. In fact, as you probably read, we went out to bid. We had hundreds of bidders. Everybody wants to build our wall. Usually that means we're going to get a good price. We're going to get a good price, believe me. We're going to build the wall. Some of the fake news said, I don't think Donald Trump wants to build the wall. Can you imagine if I said, we're not going to build the wall? Fake news. Fake news. Fake news, folks. A lot of fake. Now, the wall is way ahead of schedule in terms of where we are. It's under design, and you're going to see some very good things happening. But the border by itself right now is doing very well. It's becoming very strong. General Kelly has done a great job. General Kelly. My administration is also following through on our promise to secure, protect, and defend that border within our United States. Our southern border will be protected always. It will have the wall. Drugs will stop pouring in and poisoning our youth. And that will happen very, very soon. You're already seeing what's going on. The drugs are pouring into our country, folks. They are poisoning our youth and plenty of others. And we're going to stop it. We're not going to be playing games. Not going to be playing games. Following my executive action, and don't forget, we've only been here for 50 days? We've already experienced an unprecedented 40% reduction in illegal immigration on our southern border, 61% since Inauguration Day. 61%. Think of that. And now people are saying, we're not going to go there anymore because we can't get in. So it's going to get better and better. We got to stop those drugs, though. We got to stop those drugs. During the campaign, as I traveled all across this country, I met with many American families whose loved ones were viciously and violently killed by illegal immigrants because our government refused to enforce our already existing laws. These American victims were ignored by the media. They were ignored by Washington. But they were not ignored by me, and they're not ignored by you, and they never will be ignored, certainly any longer. Not going to happen. As we speak, we are finding the drug dealers, the robbers, thieves, gang members, killers, and criminals preying on our citizens. One by one. You're reading about it, right? They're being thrown out of our country. They're being thrown into prisons, and we will not let them back in. We're also working night and day to keep our nation safe from terrorism. We have seen the devastation from 9/11 to Boston to San Bernardino. Hundreds upon hundreds of people from outside our country have been convicted of terrorism-related offenses in the United States courts. Right now, we have investigations going on all over. Hundreds of refugees are under federal investigation for terrorism and related reasons. We have entire regions of the world destabilized by terrorism and ISIS. For this reason, I issued an executive order to temporarily suspend immigration from places where it cannot safely occur. But let me give you the bad news. We don't like bad news, right? I don't want to hear. And I'll turn it into good. But let me give you the bad, the sad news. Moments ago, I learned that a district judge in Hawaii part of the much overturned Ninth Circuit Court and I have to be nice, otherwise I'll get criticized for speaking poorly about our courts. I'll be criticized by these people, among the most dishonest people in the world. I will be criticized. I'll be criticized by them for speaking harshly about our courts. I would never want to do that. A judge has just blocked our executive order on travel and refugees coming into our country from certain countries. The order he blocked was a watered-down version of the first order that was also blocked by another judge and should have never been blocked to start with. This new order was tailored to the dictates of the Ninth Circuit's, in my opinion, flawed ruling. This is, in the opinion of many, an unprecedented judicial overreach. The law and the Constitution give the president the power to suspend immigration when he deems, or she, fortunately it will not be Hillary she, when he or she deems it to be in the national interests of our country. So we have a lot of lawyers here. We also have a lot of smart people here. Let me read to you directly from the federal statute. 212F of the Immigration, and you know what I'm talking about, right? Can I read this to you? Listen to this. Now, we're all smart people. We're all good students. We're all everything. Some are bad students, but even if you're a bad student, this is a real easy one, let me tell you. Ready? So here's the statute, which they don't even want to quote when they overrule it. And it was put here for the security of our country. And this goes beyond me because there'll be other presidents. And we need this. And sometimes we need it very badly for security of our country. It says, now listen to how easy this is. Whenever the president finds that the entry of any aliens or any class of aliens would be detrimental to the interests of the United States, he may, by proclamation, and for such period as he, you see, it wasn't politically correct because they should have said he or she. You know, today they'd say that. But that's all right. Actually, that's the only mistake they made. As he shall deem necessary, suspend the entry of all aliens or any class of aliens as immigrants or non-immigrants, or impose on the entry of aliens any restrictions he may deem to be appropriate. In other words, if he thinks there's danger out there, he or she, whoever is president, can say, I'm sorry, folks, not now, please. We got enough problems. We're talking about the safety of our nation, the safety and security of our people. Now, I know you people aren't skeptical people, because nobody would be that way in Tennessee. Right? Nobody. Not Tennessee. You don't think this was done by a judge for political reasons, do you? No. This ruling makes us look weak, which, by the way, we no longer are, believe me. Just look at our borders. We're going to fight this terrible ruling. We're going to take our case as far as it needs to go, including all the way up to the Supreme Court. We're going to win. We're going to keep our citizens safe. And regardless, we're going to keep our citizens safe, believe me. Even liberal Democratic lawyer Alan Dershowitz, good lawyer, just said that we would win this case before the Supreme Court of the United States. Remember this, I wasn't thrilled. But the lawyers all said, oh, let's tailor it. This is a watered-down version of the first one. This is a watered-down version. And let me tell you something. I think we ought to go back to the first one and go all the way, which is what I wanted to do in the first place. The danger is clear. The law is clear. The need for my executive order is clear. I was elected to change our broken and dangerous system and thinking in government that has weakened and endangered our country and left our people defenseless. And I will not stop fighting for the safety of you and your families, believe me. Not today, not ever. We're going to win it. We're going to win it. We're going to apply common sense. We're going to apply intelligence. And we're never quitting. And we're never going away. And we're never, ever giving up. The best way to keep foreign terrorists, or as some people would say in certain instances, radical Islamic terrorists from attacking our country is to stop them from entering our country in the first place. We'll take it. But these are the problems we have. People are screaming, break up the Ninth Circuit. And I'll tell you what, that Ninth Circuit, you have to see, take a look at how many times they have been overturned with their terrible decisions. Take a look. And this is what we have to live with. Finally, I want to get to taxes. I want to cut the hell out of taxes. But, before I can do that, I would have loved to have put it first, I'll be honest. There is one more very important thing that we have to do. And we are going to repeal and replace horrible, disastrous Obamacare. If we leave Obamacare in place, millions and millions of people will be forced off their plans. And your senators just told me that in your state, you're down to practically no insurers. You can have nobody. You can have nobody. And this is true all over. The insurers are fleeing. The insurers are fleeing. It's a catastrophic situation. And there's nothing to compare anything to because Obamacare won't be around for a year or two. It's gone. So it's not like, oh, gee, they have this. Obamacare is gone. Premiums will continue to soar, double digits and even triple digits in many cases. It will drain our budget and destroy our jobs. Remember all of the broken promises? You can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan. Remember the wise guy? Remember the wise guy that essentially said the American people, the so-called architect, the American people are stupid because they approved it? We're going to show them. Those in Congress who made these promises have no credibility whatsoever on health care. And remember this. If we took, because there's such divisiveness, and I'm not just talking now with me, there was with Obama, there was with Bush, the level of hatred and divisiveness with the politicians. I remember years ago, I'd go to Washington. I was always very politically active. And Republicans and Democrats, they'd fight during the day and they'd go to dinner at night. Today, there's a level that nobody's seen before. Just remember this. If we submitted the Democrats' plan, drawn everything perfect for the Democrats, we wouldn't get one vote from the Democrats. That's the way it is. That's how much divisiveness and other things there are. So it's a problem. But we're going to get it by. So I've met with so many victims of Obamacare, the people who've been so horribly hurt by this horrible legislation. At the very core of Obamacare was a fatal flaw. The government forcing people to buy a government-approved product. There are very few people. Very few people. And by the way, watch what happens. Now, you just booed Obamacare. They will say, Trump got booed when he mentioned. They're bad people, folks. They're bad people. Tonight I'll go home, I'll turn on, I'll say, listen, I'll turn on that television. My wife will say, darling, it's too bad you got booed. I said, I didn't get booed, this was a love. I said, no, they were booing Obamacare. Watch, a couple of them will actually do it, almost guaranteed. But when we call them out, it makes it harder for them to do it, so we'll see. It's the fake media. We want Americans to be able to purchase the health insurance plans they want, not the plans forced on them by our government. The House has put forward a plan to repeal and replace Obamacare based on the principles I outlined in my joint address. But let me tell you, we're going to arbitrate. We're going to all get together. We're going to get something done. Remember this. If we didn't do it the way we're doing it, we need 60 votes. So we'd have to get the Democrats involved. They won't vote no matter what we do. They're not going to vote. So we're doing it a different way, a complex way. It's fine. The end result is when you have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And then we get on to tax reductions, which I like. The House legislation does so much for you. It gives the states Medicaid flexibility, and some of the states will take over their health care. Governor Rick Scott in Florida said, just send me the money. They run a great plan. We have states that are doing great. It gives great flexibility. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Thank you. It repeals hundreds of billions of dollars in Obamacare taxes. It provides tax credits to people to purchase the care that is rightfully theirs. The bill that I will ultimately sign, and that will be a bill where everybody's going to get into the room and we're going to get it done. We'll get rid of Obamacare and make health care better for you and for your family. And once this is done, and a step further, we are going to try and put it in phase 3. I'm going to work on bringing down the cost of medicine by having a fair and competitive bidding process. We welcome this health care debate and its negotiation, and we're going to carry it out and have been carrying it out in the full light of day, unlike the way Obamacare was passed. Remember, folks, if we don't do anything, Obamacare is gone. It's not like, oh, gee, it's going to be wonderful in 3 years. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Not working. It's gone. What we cannot do is to be intimidated by the dishonest attacks from Democratic leaders in Congress who broke the system in the first place and who don't believe you should be able to make your own health care decisions. I am very confident that if we empower the American people, we will accomplish incredible things for our country, not just on health care, but all across our government. We will unlock new frontiers in science and in medicine. We will give our children the right to attend the school of their choice, one where they will be taught to love this country and its values. We will create millions and millions of new jobs by lowering taxes on our businesses and, very importantly, for our workers. We're going to lower taxes. Big. And we will fight for the right of every American child to grow up in a safe neighborhood, attend a great school, and to graduate with access to a high-paying job that they love doing. No matter our background, no matter our income, no matter our geography, we all share the same home. We all salute the same flag. And we all are made by the same God. It's time to embrace our glorious American destiny. Anything we can dream for our country, that out very recently in our last election. A lot of pride. We are all Americans, and the future truly belongs to us. The future belongs to all of you. This is your moment. This is your time. This is the hour when history is made. All we have to do is put our own citizens first, and together we will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again.
A peaceful solution. Most importantly, our two countries must continue to work together.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and the Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany.
Thank you very much. Chancellor Merkel, it is a great honor to welcome you to the People's House, the White House. Our two nations share much in common, including our desire for security, prosperity, and peace. We just concluded a productive meeting with the German and American companies to discuss workforce development and vocational training, very important words. Germany has done an incredible job training the employees and future employees and employing its manufacturing and industrial workforce. It's crucial that we provide our American workers with a really great employment outlook. And that includes making sure that we harness the full potential of women in our economy. My administration is in the process of rebuilding the American industrial base. A stronger America is in the interest, believe me, of the world as a whole. I reiterated to Chancellor Merkel my strong support for NATO, as well as the need for our NATO allies to pay their fair share for the cost of defense. Many nations owe vast sums of money from past years, and it is very unfair to the United States. These nations must pay what they owe. During our meeting, I thanked Chancellor Merkel for the German government's commitment to increase defense spending and work toward contributing at least 2% of GDP. I want to thank the Chancellor for her leadership in supporting NATO and its efforts in Afghanistan. This has come at significant cost, including the lives of over 50 German soldiers whose sacrifice we greatly honor. I also appreciate Chancellor Merkel's leadership, along with the French president, to resolve the conflict in Ukraine, where we ideally seek a peaceful solution. Most importantly, our two countries must continue to work together to protect our people from radical Islamic terrorism. and to defeat ISIS. I applaud Chancellor Merkel for Germany's contributions, both civilian and military, as a counter-ISIS coalition member. We also recognize that immigration security is national security. We must protect our citizens from those who seek to spread terrorism, extremism, and violence inside our borders. Immigration is a privilege, not a right, and the safety of our citizens must always come first, without question. Over lunch, the Chancellor and I will talk about our economic partnership. We must work together towards fair and reciprocal trade policies that benefit both of our peoples. Millions of hardworking U.S. citizens have been left behind by international commerce, and together we can shape a future where all of our citizens have a path to financial security. The United States will respect historic institutions, and we will also recognize the right of free people to manage their own destiny. The close friendship between America and Germany is built on our shared values. We cherish individual rights, we uphold the rule of law, and we seek peace among nations. Our alliance is a symbol of strength and cooperation to the world. It is the foundation of a very, very hopeful future. Thank you.
Sehr geehrter Herr
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure and privilege to be here today in the White House together with President Donald Trump and have a first personal one-on-one meeting and an exchange of views. In the period leading up to this visit, I've always said it's much, much better to talk to one another and not about one another, and I think our conversation proved this. We talked about the international situation. We talked about also apprenticeship programs when we met with CEOs and apprentices around a round table. As regards the shared interests that we have, let me look back into the past. We, the Germans, owe a lot to the United States of America, particularly as regards the economic rise of Germany. This was primarily due to the help through the Marshall Plan. We were also able to regain German unity after decades of the United States standing up for this together with other allies and standing by our side during the period of the Cold War. And we are very gratified to know that today we can live in peace and freedom as a unified country due to that. So I was gratified to know that the President underlined how important he thinks NATO is. NATO is of prime importance for us, and it was not without very good reason that we said during our summit meeting in Wales that also Germany needs to increase its expenditure. We committed to this 2% goal until 2024. Last year we increased our defense spending by 8%, and we're going to work together again and again on this. And we said that obviously defense and security has a lot of different assets and facets to it. On the one hand, it's supporting missions in Africa, for example. It's also promoting development assistance, but it's also helping missions in Africa, for example, in trying to stand up for their own safety and security. We continue to be in conversation. What was important for us today was that we were able to talk about Afghanistan, talk about what, as the President quite rightly said, the continuing mission of Germany in Afghanistan. I am very glad that the United States are intending to continue to commit to the Afghan mission as well. Together we fight against Islamist terrorism. Germany is going to step up its work and is going to continue its work in Afghanistan and also in Syria. We're going to monitor the situation there very closely. We're going to work on political solutions in Syria, but also in Libya, what we talked about. I am very gratified to know that the American administration and also the President personally commit himself to the Minsk process, we need to come to a solution of this problem. There has to be a safe and secure solution for Ukraine, but the relationship with Russia has to be improved as well. Once the situation there on the ground is clarified, Minsk is a good basis, but unfortunately we haven't made yet the headway that we want to, but we are going to work together with our experts in the next few months to come on this issue. I am also here in my capacity as G20 president. You know that we will be hosting the G20 the G20 summit, this year, and I'm very pleased that the president has committed to attending this summit. We're going to talk at some length over lunch about the issues. We say trade has to be rendered fairer. There has to be a win-win situation. We can talk about the details of that. We've already seen today when we had an exchange with our CEOs and also with our apprentices what sort of potential we can tap, what sort of potential our two economies have. It's very moving to see, particularly meeting with these young people, what sort of work towards the future is being done by our companies there. So particularly in this period where we are transiting from traditional manufacturing to Industry 4.0, capacity building, skills are so important, incidentally, not only for young people, but also for those who maybe have lost their jobs and need to be reskilled in order to find a job again. And that is an issue I know is very important for you here in the United States, but it's also important for us in Germany. So I can say there are a number of issues where we will continue to cooperate very closely on the level of our experts, but also on our level. We had a very good first exchange of views, so I'm very much looking forward to the talks we will have over lunch. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll do a couple of questions. Mark Halpern.
President, thank you. A lot of Americans now have anxiety, like 8 years ago, as the government here debates what to do about health care. So I'm wondering if you can tell people what your bottom lines are, what's non-negotiable. You talked in the past about saying no one should deny health insurance if they can't afford it. You talked about
The gentleman needs to use a microphone.
Are those your part of your bottom line? Would you veto any piece of legislation that violated those? Madam Chancellor, I'd like to ask you. President Trump's got a different style than most recent past U.S. presidents. I'm wondering what you think of that style, if you think it's good for the world, or if you've got any reservations. Thank you both.
Thank you, Mark. We just have a really wonderful group of people meeting later. We met with 12 pretty much no's in Congress. You saw that a little while ago, and they went from all no's to all yeses. And we have a lot of yeses coming in. It's all coming together. We're going to have great health care. It's going to be passed, I believe, I think substantially and pretty quickly. It's coming together beautifully. You have the conservative groups, you have other groups, everybody wants certain things. In the end, we're going to have a great health care plan. Now, I have to tell you that Obamacare is a disaster. It's failing. I was in Tennessee. We had a tremendous crowd the other night, and they have half of the state is uncovered. The insurance companies have left, and the other half has one insurance company, and that'll probably be bailing out pretty soon also. They have nobody. You have many states where they have one, and you have a lot of places now where they'll have none. Obamacare will fail. It will fold. It will close up very, very soon if something isn't done. I've often said politically the best thing I can do is absolutely nothing. Wait 1 year, and then even the Democrats will come say, please, please, you got to help us. But it's not the right thing to do for the people. We have a great plan. We have a plan that's getting more and more popular with the Republican base, with the conservative base, and with people generally. The press has covered it very inaccurately. People are truly covered well, and I think it's going to be something that's going to be a model to be looked upon. I'll tell you after we're finished.
Ja, danke schön.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm here as Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany. I represent German interests. I speak with the President of the United States, who, stands up for, as is right, American interests. That is our task, respectively, and I must say that I was very gratified to know the very warm and gracious hospitality with which I've been received here. We held a conversation where we were trying to address also those areas where we disagree, but to try to bring people together, try to show what is our vantage point, what is the American vantage point, and then try to find a compromise which is good for both sides, because we need to be fair with each other. Each and everyone is expecting from his or her leader that something good comes out of it for their own people. For Germany, I can say, well, people are different. People have different abilities, have different characteristics, traits of character, have different origins, have found their way into politics along different pathways.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. And we all said, Amen.
Next is Troy Yokel. He will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, so please stay standing. Troy is an Operation Iraqi Freedom veteran and a recipient of the Citizen of Honor Medal for walking across America 3 times to establish the 501c3 charity Active Heroes that helps reduce veteran suicides in every state. Please join in welcoming Troy as he gives the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm extremely honored to be here today in support of a president that I voted for. But more importantly, I'm deeply honored to be in front of you, because many of you I do know. You are the patriotic supporters of our veterans, and you are supporters of organizations like Active Heroes, who are doing so much to support our local veterans and their families. While we recite the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to say one thing, and hopefully you'll think about this while we recite it together. There are over 20 veterans a day taking their own lives due to post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's way too many, you're right. We have a motto at Active Heroes, which is one veteran suicide is one too many. So please, think about a veteran that you may know, a military family member that you've entrusted before, or someone that you may be seen at an airport wearing a uniform serving. Together, we can support organizations like Active Heroes to do the good work to reduce veteran suicide. 20 veterans a day is way, way too many. Please, remove your headgear and recite the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Our next guest is a Kentucky native who has overcome challenges in her own life to become the AMG Youth Artist of the Year. She burst onto the national scene after the video went viral of her singing the national anthem at the UK women's basketball game. Since then, she has performed the anthem at multiple events from the NBA to NASCAR. Now, as she is here to perform for us, a familiar face to all Kentuckians, please welcome Marlena Vanhoose.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets that blared, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Land of the free and the home of the
Our first speaker for the evening is no stranger to the debate over health care. As an esteemed physician, a former hospital chief of staff, and current regional medical director for Kentucky One Medical Group, Dr. Ralph Alvarado has firsthand knowledge of the challenges our healthcare system faces. He cared so much about those challenges that he ran and won for the Senate seat from the 28th District. Now he is determined to be a part of the solutions, and that is how I know him best. I am honored to serve in the General Assembly with this man, and pleased to welcome my friend, Dr. and Senator Ralph Alvarado.
Well, good evening. What a great night to be a Kentuckian, right? It's
not every day that Kentucky has the privilege to host the President of the United States for a political rally like this. My name is Ralph Alvarado, and I'm the state senator who proudly represents Kentucky's 28th Senate District, which includes Fayette, Montgomery, and Clark counties. And this past year has been quite a political whirlwind for me. In April, I was asked to serve as a delegate for Kentucky's 6th Congressional District and serve as a member of the Rules Committee of the Republican National Convention. But the privilege and honor for me was to be asked to deliver a primetime speech at the National Convention on behalf of our then presidential candidate, Donald Trump. That's a memory that I will cherish forever, and I'm forever grateful. During that speech, I focused on my family's story of immigration, perseverance, and pursuing the American dream. But tonight, our focus strikes another very personal note for me, healthcare. And when I'm not serving in the General Assembly, I spend my time caring for my patients as a primary care physician. For the past 8 years, I've watched as the Democrats forced Obamacare down the throats of the American people. Exactly. And while healthcare was not perfect before 2008, healthcare has deteriorated the more that the government has become involved. I've watched my medical colleagues burdened with unnecessary regulations and increasing frustration in the practice of medicine. Doctors have become expensive data entry experts who spend more time typing into their computers than examining or looking at their patients. The joy of medicine has been stolen by bureaucrats who are more interested in scoring political points rather than really improving the delivery of health care in our country. And as a result of Obamacare, my own private medical practice was sunk in 2013, forcing me and my partners to sell to a much larger medical conglomerate or face closing our doors. The same thing that has caused over 70% of our doctors to sell their independent practices just to stay financially afloat. I've watched as millions of patients lost the health plans and doctors that they loved. I've watched as millions of middle-class families pay a new tax through higher health care premiums and deductibles or face penalties. I've watched as countless politicians foolishly think that just having a health insurance card equates to health care. I can tell you that a health insurance card is just a health insurance card. It doesn't guarantee you health care unless someone agrees to provide it to you. And I've watched as insurance companies have reaped record profits here in Kentucky, over $850 million per year, while Medicaid patients struggle to find a primary care provider who will actually take their insurance. I've watched as Kentucky taxpayers face a $1.2 billion price tag to Medicaid expansion through Governor Beshear's executive order that was never voted on by your elected officials. I watched the Obama administration tell numerous flat-out lies to try and gain support, and the media just applauded like cheerleaders as they looked the other way. Remember some of these lies? If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan, period. Millions of Americans have lost and will continue to lose coverage due to Obamacare. How about this one? If you like your doctor, you'll be able to keep your doctor, period. Exactly. Many Americans might not be able to keep their current doctors without paying extra in their plans. How about this line? We'll lower premiums by up to $2,500 for a typical family per year. Premiums for people purchasing coverage in the individual market have increased in the majority of our states, including right here in Kentucky. Between 2009 and 2013, costs increased by an average of $2,976 per year for an average family. How about this line? I will not sign a plan that adds one dime to our deficits either now or in the future. Laughable. Obamacare's new spending is absolutely unsustainable. The estimate is $6.2 trillion over the next several decades. And how about this line? I will sign a universal health care bill into law by the end of my first term as president that will cover every American. 31 million Americans still remain uninsured in this country, despite the efforts from our federal government. This type of government deception and overreach is not what our country was founded on, ladies and gentlemen. A government that mandates what we should or should not buy is not the American way. Ours is a free enterprise system, and medicine has reached the greatest heights that it has in any country in the world under that system. America succeeds when she has a free society with a limited government, not a burdened society with a bloated government. Well, this past November, we know what America said. America said, enough. Kentucky said, enough. Enough. No more lies about health care. No more politics as usual. No more you have to pass it to know what's in it. That sounds in the medical terminology like a bowel movement. America and Kentucky voted for transparency. We voted for lower taxes. We voted for limited government. We voted for law and order. We voted for security and control of our borders. We voted for protection of our constitutional freedoms. We voted for an executive and a Congress who will keep their promises to repeal and replace Obamacare. And in the end, we ultimately voted for a President Donald Trump. I don't know about you, for the next 4 years, I'm feeling very hopeful about where we can go. From the Republican caucuses of the General Assembly, thank you for your passion, thank you for your support, thank you for your trust and for your confidence. We won't let you down. God bless our great Commonwealth. Thank you.
Next time I get my head cracked open, we need that.
After earning an industrial engineering degree in 1985, Janine Hampton joined the U.S. Air Force. Her 7 years of military service included a tour of duty in Saudi Arabia during Operation Desert Storm. Following her military service, Lieutenant Governor Hampton began a 19-year career in industry. In 2015, she was approached by our great governor, Matt Bevin, to be his running mate, and the state of Kentucky has benefited from her service multipliers. It has been my pleasure to introduce to you the Lieutenant Governor of Kentucky, Janine Hampton.
It is truly an honor to be here tonight to help welcome President Donald Trump back to Kentucky. It is wonderful. You know, I'm often asked how a kid from Detroit goes from Detroit to this. And the short answer is God, and the long answer is God. But I would tell you, since I was a kid, I knew I was blessed to live in a neighborhood. Encroach on our liberties. Things like somebody deciding that taking control of healthcare and making decisions for you is a good idea. It is a bad idea. Absolutely bad idea. The individual is best suited to make decisions for themselves and their families. There is absolutely no doubt of that. Every generation stands on the shoulders of those before it, and I'm no different. I'm certainly no different. I know that somewhere back there, I appreciate Dr. Martin Luther King. I appreciate those of the civil rights movement who marched so that I could vote, so that I could eat in any restaurant, so that I could run for office. I know that if I go back far
in America. Governor Bevin is committed to investing in education and workforce development, reforming foster care and adoption in our state, and creating a healthier Kentucky. And on a personal note, Governor Bevin, on the adoption and foster care, I want to personally thank you for what you're doing on that as a father of an adopted son. I want to thank him also for the vital role that he has played in the historic transformation of the General Assembly in the past election in 2016. It has been a pleasure and an honor to work with him in a very productive legislative session this year. It is with the utmost respect that I get to present to you the 62nd Governor of the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, Governor Matt Bevin.
everyone. My name is Jen. I am the host of the stream. What you're seeing in front of you is Freedom Hall, where President Trump is going to have his rally going on. This is in Louisville, Kentucky. As you can see, the front of it says, "Welcome President Trump." President Trump has already landed. He's on his way to Freedom Hall. And we should have footage from inside back on your screen in just a few minutes. So bear with us. We're getting the stream and it will come to you live. Again, from Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you very much for joining us and choosing Golden State Times as your stream of choice.
adieu to you, ladies of Spain. The first land we made was a point called the Dead Man. Next Ram's Head off Plymouth, Start Portland and White. We sailed then by Beachy, by Fairley and Dungeness, and bore straight away for the south, for the sight, for the right. And we'll roar like true British sailors, we'll rat, and we'll roar across the sea, till we strike soundings in the channel of old England. From Scilly to Scilly is 34. Let every good man drink up a full bumper, let every good man drink up his full bowl, and let us be jolly and drown melancholy. Drink a health to drink a health to drink a health to drink a health to soul and we'll set, and we'll roar like true British sailors, we'll rant, and we'll roar across the salt sea, till we strike soundings in the channel of old England. From Ushant to Scilly is 34 leagues. Farewell and adieu to you, fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu to you, ladies of Spain, for we've received orders for to sail for old England. can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we once were so gallantly streamed.
Thank you, everybody. I am thrilled to be here in the great state of Kentucky and the beautiful city of Louisville. And this place is packed. There are a lot of people outside aren't getting in, but that's all right. We love them too, right? We love them too. We're in the heartland of America, and there is no place I would rather be than here with you tonight. Our first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, was born right here in Kentucky. That's not bad. The legendary pioneer, Daniel Boone, helped settle the Kentucky frontier. And the great 19th century American statesman, Henry Clay, represented Kentucky in the United States Congress. Henry Clay believed in what he called the American system and proposed tariffs to protect American industry and finance American infrastructure. I'm honored to be here today with many of your tremendous modern-day leaders. We're joined tonight, and I want you to give him a nice hand, because he's on our side. Got to take good care of our people, right? And he's got a lot of power for the people of Kentucky. By our Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell. Where is he? Come here, Mitch. Thank you, Mitch. How are you doing, Mitch? Hey, Mitch, we gonna be okay? Everything good? That health care is looking good? Good, thanks, Mitch. And we're also very lucky to have in my cabinet our Secretary of Transportation, the wonderful Elaine Chao. Working with Secretary Chao, we're going to rebuild the crumbling infrastructure of the United States. It's time, right? It's time. It is time. After spending trillions and trillions of dollars overseas, it is indeed time we are going to start taking care of our country. Also with us this evening is your great governor, Matt Bevin. Where's Matt? Matt. Thanks, Matt. Congressman Andy Barr and Congressman Jamie Comer. The state motto of Kentucky is united we stand, divided we fall. We are united. Somebody from the fake media the other day asked me a question. They said, how are the Republicans going to finally get together? I said, wait a minute. We won the presidency. We won the House. We won the Senate. I mean, right? Actually, he was a nice guy that asked the question. But I was sort of thinking that was an interesting question because we've just about never been on a streak like this. I think 1928, a long time ago. And we're going to get a lot of things done. And then we're going to get to truly one of my favorite things. It's called reducing taxes. Standing together as Americans, we are going to deliver amazing things for the citizens of Kentucky and the United States. Most importantly, we are going to take power back from the political class in Washington and return that power to you, the American people. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It started on November 8th. Remember that beautiful, beautiful day? That beautiful day. I'm going to give it back. That was a beautiful day. They weren't giving us a lot of chance, were they? Remember, there is no path to 270. Well, remember the line? And you know, for the Republicans, the Electoral College was very, very hard to win. Do you remember the famous line? There is no path to 270. Well, there was a path to 306, but maybe not to 270. But we have a lot of work to do. The fact is, we inherited a mess. It's a mess. I met with the Prime Minister today of Iraq. I met with others, the Middle East, North Korea. North Korea. I'll tell you what's happening there is disgraceful and not smart at all. So many different problems. And I'll tell you, you see what's happening with the economy. We've picked up $3 trillion in value, and our companies are bringing people back to work. We have to take on every special interest that has profited from and I don't mean like a little bit, I mean really terrible trade deals, horrible trade deals. Last year, our country lost almost $800 billion in trade. Not going to happen anymore, folks. Not going to happen anymore. Uncontrolled immigration, you see what's going on there? That's happening quickly. Got a little problem with the courts not want to wanting to give us the decisions that should be given, but we're going to win it. And a financial system stacked against the American people. These entrenched interests will do anything they can to keep the broken system in place, but they will fail, and we will win because we are fighting on this side of our great American heritage. This place is packed. I mean, I don't want to say this. We could have been watching a good basketball game tonight, right? What happened? What happened? That's all right. You've done a good job, right? You've done a good job. Great team, great coach. It's all right. We are going to drain the swamp of government corruption in Washington, D.C. And we are going to keep our promises, all of the promises that we made. We are going to massively reduce your taxes. We are going to reduce very substantially rising crime and support the incredible men and women of law enforcement. We're going to bring accountability to the VA and take great care, finally, of our great veterans. And our secretary, you wouldn't believe it, because I still don't have my cabinet. They won't approve my cabinet. There is a lot of division and a lot of bad stuff going on in this country. But I'll tell you, David, we love David. David got approved 100 to nothing. Can you believe it? Head of the VA, Secretary of the VA. And you watch what happens with the veterans. It's time we take care of our veterans. We are going to rebuild the United States military, finally. I proposed a budget that calls for one of the largest increases in defense spending history, and we need it. We need it. Got a lot of bad actors out there, folks, right? That's time also. And it's also jobs, because we're going to make this equipment right here in the USA. And we believe in three crucial words: peace through strength. Here's our great Lieutenant Governor, by the way, please. Thank you, darling. Thank you. But we will spend our money wisely with just one negotiation on one set of airplanes. I saved the taxpayers of our country over $700 million. And that's just one of many. One of many. We've also kept our promise to appoint a Supreme Court justice who will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. Judge Neil Gorsuch's hearing is now underway in the Senate, and I urge members of both parties to swiftly approve his nomination. He is an outstanding man from an outstanding family with an unbelievably wonderful wife. They should approve. There's another promise that is deeply important to me, and I know it is deeply important to you. We are going to put our coal miners back to work. They have not been treated well, but they're going to be treated well now. Clean coal, right? Clean coal. I have already eliminated a devastating anti-coal regulation, and that is just the beginning. You saw that. We got a lot of thank yous from a lot of great people that work very hard and want to keep working. A lot of people are going to be put back to work. A lot of coal miners are going back to work. As we speak, we are preparing new executive actions to save our coal industry and to save our wonderful coal miners from continuing to be put out of work. The miners are coming back. Our new EPA administrator, Scott Pruitt, a Kentucky native, will turn the EPA, environmental, will turn the EPA from a job killer into a job creator. You watch. Since my inauguration, we've already added nearly 500,000 new jobs. And that's, believe me, just the beginning. Just the beginning. And I don't know, do you see those consumer confidence levels, Matt? They're through the roof. I don't even know. I think you're doing as well in Kentucky, but I know you don't like Obamacare. I know. Great guy. We're working to remove regulations on our auto industry so we can make more cars right here in America, including more cars in Kentucky. We've wiped out many, many unnecessary regulations, and that's just the beginning. It's continuing on a weekly basis. We're getting rid of unnecessary regulations. We're going to be good for business, and we're going to be good for the workers of America. We've also cleared the way for the Keystone and the Dakota Access Pipeline. And as I was signing it, I said, where are they getting the steel? Where? And I said, you know what? If people want to build pipelines in the United States, they should use American steel, and they should build it and create it right here. That pipe is going to be manufactured right here. That was like a last minute. I'm saying, where are they buying this stuff? Like Henry Clay, we want to put our own people to work. We believe in two simple rules: buy American and hire American. So as you folks all know, Henry Clay was the legendary Kentucky politician who became the 8th Speaker of the House in 1811. You know, they compared my campaign to Jackson, President Jackson, right? Of 1828. I said, can you imagine having to go back that far? And they said this was even more severe. But we did a good job. Did we do a great job together? 1828, that's a long time ago. Oh, boy. And he was a good president, right? He was a good president. Clay was a fierce advocate for American manufacturing. He wanted it badly. He said very strongly, free trade, which would throw wide open our ports to foreign production without duties, while theirs remain closed to us. That was his quote. He knew all the way back, early 1800s. Clay said that trade must be fair, equal, and reciprocal. Boom. He said fair, equal, and reciprocal. I'm talking about reciprocal trade. Reciprocal. I mentioned that the other day to a group in my office. We're going to be doing some trade deals as soon as we get the health care finished. Oh, I'm looking forward to these trade deals. They're the ones, there's going to be no ambiguity. But I use the word reciprocal. You know, Harley Davidson makes great motorcycles. They were in my office. And they came in. I said, how you doing? Great. How's business? Great. How do you do overseas? Well, it's tough. We have some countries that charge us a $100 import tax. I said, 100%. Think of it. They want $100 on that 100%. So I said, how do you do? Not so well. It's tough. They have other countries that charge a lot. We want reciprocal. So if they're going to charge us 100%, we're going to charge them 100%. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to bring their 100% down to nothing like we charge. We can't allow that to happen. We can't allow that to happen. In explaining his American system, Clay argued that the sole object of the tariff is to tax the produce, and remember, to tax the produce of foreign industry with the view of promoting American industry. For too long, our government has abandoned the American system. Since NAFTA was approved in 1994, the worst trade deal ever made by any country, I think, in the world, America has lost nearly 1/3 of its manufacturing jobs. Do not worry. We are starting on NAFTA very soon. You know, I've only been there for 52 days, right? Somebody said to me, when are you starting on NAFTA? I said, wait a minute. I did this. I've knocked out unbelievable numbers of regulations. We're negotiating much better deals, these terrible deals that were made. I've been here like 51 days. Give me a chance. I look forward. We're going to do something with NAFTA that you are going to be very, very impressed with. That's going to be an easy one, folks. That's going to be an easy one. Since China joined, and it's another beauty, the World Trade Organization in 2001, the United States has lost many more than 60,000 factories. We sacrificed our own middle class to finance the growth of foreign countries. But those days, ladies and gentlemen of Kentucky, are over. Is that okay? Those days are over. It's crazy. You know what that is? Much more than 60,000 factories. You know what that is? It's like, I said, if you have a map, how do you put that many dots in the map, right? More than 60,000 factories, but they're all coming back. You see them coming back. You see car companies that we're going to build elsewhere, and now they're saying that because of Trump, we're going to build in Michigan, we're going to build in Ohio, we're going to build in Kentucky. They're saying it loud and clear. Because from now on, it's going to be America first. America first. We will be, I promise you, a rich nation once again. And we will do what we have to do, and we will not allow other countries to take advantage of us like they've been doing to a level that's hard to believe. Hard to believe. Not going to happen. Not going to happen anymore, Kentucky. Remember that, okay? You just worry about your basketball team. I'll take care of the rest. But to be a rich nation, we must also be a safe nation. That is why I am following through on my promise to secure, protect, and defend the borders of the United States. We will build, that's right, a great, great border wall. And you know, it's already out to bid. You've probably been reading tremendous numbers of bidders. What does that mean when you have a lot of bidders? It means we're going to get it for the right price, okay? Believe me. And we will stop the drugs that are pouring into our country and poisoning our youth and plenty of others. To stop the drugs. A lot of them are coming in from the southern border. Since the day of my election, we've already cut illegal immigration at the southern border by 61%. Think of that. 61% that we haven't started. And the courts are not making it easy, folks. They're not making it easy. Terrible. 61%. During the campaign, as I've traveled all across this great country, I met with many American families whose loved ones, sons and daughters, husbands and wives, were viciously killed by illegal immigrants. Incredible. Incredible. These amazing American lives were stolen because our government refused to enforce our already existing laws. These American victims and their families were ignored by the media. The media doesn't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. They were ignored by the consultants. They were ignored by Washington. But these Americans were not ignored by me. They were not ignored by you. You showed that on November 8th. They were not ignored by you, and they will never be ignored by any of us. As we speak tonight, we are finding the drug dealers, robbers, thieves, gang members, predators, killers, and criminals of all types preying on our citizens. You've been seeing it, you've been reading about it, and you've been seeing it. One by one, they are being tracked down and thrown the hell out of our country, and we will not let them back in. We are also working to protect our citizens from terrorism. We have seen the devastation at home from 9/11 to Boston to San Bernardino and many, many other places. We've seen attacks overseas in France, in Germany, in Belgium. It's time for intelligence and common sense to be used. The single best way to protect, and you have to do this, and to keep foreign terrorists from attacking our country is to keep these foreign terrorists from entering our country in the first place.
And we will stop radical Islamic terrorism. We will stop it. Not going to let it happen. Not here. Not going to let it happen. Finally, we want a very big tax cut, but cannot do that until we keep our promise to repeal and replace the disaster known as Obamacare. And we're going to be working very closely with our leader, Mitch McConnell, to get that job done. Paul Ryan, everybody, they're going to be working very hard. And Congressman Andy Barr and Jamie Comer, I have to thank them for their help and their support as we move toward the crucial House vote on Thursday, the 7th anniversary of Obamacare's very painful passage. This is our long-awaited chance to finally get rid of Obamacare. It's a long-awaited chance. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. What's the alternative? The alternative is what you have. What you have is nothing. The worst. It's the big lie. And remember this, so true. I happen to like a lot Senator Rand Paul. I do. I do. I like him. It's good. He's a good guy. And I look forward to working with him so we can get this bill passed in some form so that we can pass massive tax reform, which we can't do until this happens. So we got to get this done before we can do the other. In other words, we have to know what this is before we can do the big tax cuts. We got to get it done for a lot of reasons, but that's one of them. And it's important to realize how we got to Obamacare in the first place. Back in 2009 and 2010, House and Senate Democrats forced through a 2,700-page health care bill that no one read and no one understood. By the way, today it's thousands of pages more. It's not even understandable. They ignored the public. They ignored the voters, and they jammed a massive, failed health care takeover right through Congress. And this is what we have. It's time for Democrat leaders in Washington to take responsibility for the disaster they and they alone created. Remember when President Obama said, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Nobody brings that stuff up, do they? Do they ever bring it up? Matt, I don't think so, right? They don't bring it up. Notice how they forget all those things? Or when the architect of Obamacare said the law was passed because of the stupidity of the American voter. Or Bill Clinton on the campaign trail. Oh, he must have had a tough night when he went home that night. Called Obamacare the craziest thing in the world, where people wind up with their premiums double and their coverage cut in half. Bill Clinton said that, the craziest thing in the world. Or the Democratic governor of Minnesota, who said the Affordable Care Act is no longer affordable. It's been one broken promise after another. People have been kicked off their plans, and their premiums have increased by double and triple digits. Arizona up 116%. By the way, insurance companies in a great state known as Kentucky, have you ever heard of it? Are in tremendous trouble, will be fleeing, and we're going to save it all. We're going to save it all. Tremendous trouble. It's a disaster. In fact, to counter my speech 2 weeks ago in Congress. I don't know, did anybody see that speech? They used the former governor of Kentucky. And the plan doesn't work in Kentucky. But Matt will save us. Many of our best and brightest are leaving the medical profession entirely because of Obamacare. Obamacare has been a complete and total catastrophe, and it's getting worse and worse by the day. And yet you watch the fake media, the fake news, and they try and build it up. It's a disaster, fellas. It's a disaster. Boy, it'd be great if they told the truth about Obamacare. It would be so wonderful for the people of this country because it would just sail right through. Our plan would sail right through. 1/3 of the counties in the United States now have only one Obamacare insurer left. Some have none. And in your state, it's worse. In a recent interview, your governor, Matt Bevin, who's right here, so I better be careful, said that Obamacare was a disaster in Kentucky. Is that right? I'm quoting that so accurately. And it is. It's been an absolute disaster. Half of our counties only have a single provider right now. It's a financial disaster waiting to happen right here in your own state. Thursday is our chance to end Obamacare and the Obamacare catastrophe and begin delivering the reforms our people deserve. Big thing. Then we get to tax cuts. Big thing. And remember, we're going to negotiate, and it's going to go to the Senate and back and forth. The end result is going to be wonderful, and it's going to work great. Once this is done, we are also going to work on bringing down the cost of medicine by having a fair and competitive bidding process. Some people think that's just as important as health care. The cost of medicine in this country is outrageous, many times higher than in some countries in Europe and elsewhere. Why? Same pill, same manufacturer, identical, and it's many times higher in the United States. You know why? Campaign contributions, who knows? But somebody's getting very rich. We're going to bring it down. We're going to have a great competitive bidding process. Medicine prices will be coming way down, way, way, way down, and that's going to happen fast. And we're just adding that to the bill. I said we got to add that to the bill. We're going to do a bill later. We're trying to add it to this bill, and if we can't, we're going to have it right after. You have some crazy arcane laws, folks, just in case you haven't heard. I am confident that if we empower the American people, we will accomplish incredible things for our country, not just on health care, but all across our government. And by the way, that Second Amendment is very, very safe right now. I promised. I said we're going to save the Second Amendment. I promise you we are going to save the Second Amendment. It's very, very safe. Would not be in good shape if a certain other person won this election, I can tell you. You'd not be happy. And if they came to make a speech, 250 people would have showed up. A new spirit of optimism is sweeping across our land, and a new national pride is swelling our hearts and stirring our souls. So true. Just imagine what we could accomplish if we stand together as a united American people. Our economy will be unleashed, and millions will be lifted from welfare to work. Gotta work, gotta work. They're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. From welfare to work. Our children will grow up in safe communities.
and they will be educated in schools that teach them to love our country and its values. Our inner cities will find a rebirth of hope, safety, and opportunity. And you know, your San Francisco quarterback, I'm sure nobody ever heard of him. I'm just reporting the news. There was an article today. I love to report the news, and then they said I made a mistake, right? I said, no, the people reporting the news made a mistake if it's wrong. But there was an article today, it was reported, that NFL owners don't want to pick them up because they don't want to get a nasty tweet from Donald Trump. Do you believe that? I just saw that. I said, if I remember that one, I'm going to report it to the people of Kentucky. Because they like it when people actually stand for the American flag, right? Our struggling industries are going to be revitalized, and our dying factories will come roaring back to life. It's already happening. And in our dealings with other nations, we will find a new era of security, cooperation, and peace. And we won't be played for the fool, and we won't be played for the suckers any longer. This is the future that awaits us if we embrace our destiny as Americans, which we did. This was one of the greatest things, one of the biggest events ever to happen in our country. And we're going to make it even better than anybody ever thought possible. That's happening already. We are one people, and we share one fate. Whether we are black or brown or white, we all bleed the same red blood. We all salute the same great American flag. And we are all made by the same Almighty God. As long as we remember these truths, we will not fail. Nobody can beat us. Nobody. We are Americans, and the future belongs to us. The future belongs to you. This is your moment. This is your time. And this, the United States of America, is your country again. So with hope in our souls and patriotism in our hearts, let us now recite these words. Are you ready? Together, we will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Kentucky. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, folks, thank you very much for joining us and choosing us as your stream of choice. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I hope that you guys enjoyed this rally. According to sources, President Trump says that he is going to do a rally once a month or maybe even twice a month. I don't know for how long, but his idea is making these rallies to go out and talk to the American people, do these rallies so he can interact with the American down on the ground and show his support and tell the patriot exactly in front of him what is going on with the administration. He's trying to bypass the mainstream media. He's trying to bypass all of the people that are against him. And this is his way of trying to go around the mainstream media. And we support him 100%, and we're going to be there every single time. We're going to stream this every single time, so you, the American people, can listen to what's going on from his perspective, and no spin to the situation. We're not here to basically tell you how to think. We just present you the information. You guys come up with your own conclusions. If there's anything that you guys have a question about, let us know. And maybe we can help you get the answer or point you in the right direction of where you might get the answer. My job is not to tell you how to think. My job is just to show you the content. Uninterrupted, unscripted, unfiltered, with no spin. We don't interrupt the president in between. That's not our job. Our job is to present you the facts, and it's up to you to either believe it, take it, or do a little bit more research, which we encourage you guys to do. But thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to all those that contributed to the channel. Thank you to all those that shared and liked and shared it with their friends on social media and all that stuff. You guys are awesome. You guys make us number one, and we thank you so much for that. A lot of people were saying that you guys were coming from Alex Jones, which is kind of cool. But thank you very much for that also. And thank you to all the moderators. We got, let me give a shout out to all the moderators real quick. Let's see. Moderators. Here we go. We got Sayuri Blue 90, Brian Knight, Nightbot, Roosevelt, Gorf, and Deacon. Thank you very much for being awesome and keeping the chat clean and enjoyable for everyone. If you are new to our community, hit that subscribe button. We encourage you to join us. We are a no troll zone. As soon as we see a troll, we get them the heck out of here, because we don't want them to be polluting our chat. So, whenever they feel like trolling, we just grab them and throw them over. We don't want them here. We don't need them here. This is a troll-free chat. Like we say on the chat, we deport all the trolls. We have deported over 54,000, I think, trolls in the last year. That is more people than we have subscribers. So that means something. It means that we don't put up with anybody that's not here to be constructive. We don't put up with anybody that's not here to have a constructive criticism, right? If you guys support President Trump or don't support President Trump, that's up to you. But come to the chat to be ready to either debate if you have a problem or to find out the answer to what the question that you might have. That's all we ask. But saying F Trump or anything like that is not constructive criticism, and we will ban you for it. So just as an FYI, in case you're new to our channel. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. See you guys tomorrow for another Sean Spicer presser. And more streams coming up, because Neil Gorsuch, which is the nominee for the Supreme Court Justice, he is going to have a confirmation tomorrow. So we'll start that early, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. And I think they're going to continue the Russian involvement hearings. So, you know, I might stream that. I might not. I'm not 100% sure, depending on the topic. So, but we are definitely going to stream the Neil Gorsuch confirmation. We're going to stream that here live starting tomorrow, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. And then the presser that starts at 10:30 Pacific, 1:30 Eastern. So we'll do all that good stuff here. So yeah, guys, thank you very much. Peace.